Oops. See if we can get it around here. Get some video. Hello there. Shabbat Shalom. It's the 7th day. So I was just thinking in regards of can we actually, and maybe yeah, it's full. You know, the the screen of the, actually I have others where you can actually set a whole wide screen in the background, but it seems this works as well. Anyway, so I was just thinking in regards of, I've done studies on the Nazoreans, the first Christians. I've done research on Asia Minor, research with other research, you know, done my own research, this and that. There's a huge amount of material out there. Just to see what the first believers did, and in regards of Paulus, Shaul, and all that, and Asia Minor, apparently discounting Paulus, all of them apparently according to himself, and that might have something to do with what Jesus writes in regards to the 7 letters, in regards of the 7 congregations. So, but we know by Paulus' own letter that they left him, all of them, all Asia, which is pretty much a big area. We have some sources from the Nazoreans as well. We have the conflicts as well. I think it was from an Arab source where they have some Christians, you know, from a new source in regards of Arabs, and having some Christian sources as well in regards to the Nazoreans and the Christians. But anyway, that was, you know, there's a conflict going on, and you see it from the very beginning. We see Rome beginning to just, you know, turn the boat around in regards of, it starts, well, it could probably start sooner, but some of the things that is historical that we know of the sources we have, but I think Rome has censored a lot of historical sources, and I actually found a guy that I come to the same conclusion. There's probably a lot of others coming to the same conclusion, which is a King James guy, as I understand it. But anyway, he talks about it. I have the video actually, but he talks about this, that, you know, whatever we have left, and again, we can still reconstruct a lot of the things by just reading, you know, those documents that we have. Yet it's very sad that we have lost a lot of material, which, you know, probably didn't go along with Rome. And of course, if it doesn't go along with Rome, you know, it has to be censored, right? In any case, but anyway, just reconstructing the Christians in Asia Minor, for example, we can pretty much, you know, they believed in the scriptures, they believed in reading the Bible, they believed in, you know, doing what the Bible said. As far as I can see, they kept all the festivals in the Bible. They kept Passover, and that's one of the conflict that Rome and Asia Minor have, which I think Rome is the church of Paulus, which they, you know, they discounted Paulus already in the 1st century. I'm not sure what was going on. We have some other sources that seems that the Nazoreans themselves, well, we have conflicting data, but, you know, I have 2 points in regards of where people say that they rejected him. We know the Ebionites rejected him as well. Then, of course, we have Jerome, which says otherwise. But again, you know, from one of the books that I read about the Nazoreans, it seemed like it was scholarly consensus that the Nazarenes rejected Paul. You know, it's like, why haven't I heard about that? And of course, this is an older book, but, you know, the guy in the book itself, which is over on the shelf, don't come to this conclusion. He goes with Jerome. But anyway, in any case, we know that the churches or the congregations in Asia Minor seemingly, as far as I can see, actually kept the festivals of Jehovah, or the festivals of Yeshua, in regards of Passover, 7 days unleavened bread, you know, the first fruit, what is it called? the Feast of Weeks and Day of Trumpet, Day of Atonement, and Day of or the Festival of Sukkot and all of that. What is it complaining about? Is it complaining about? Any case. So as far as I can see by the sources we have, they kept the true Sabbath, which is not Sunday. They kept the true Sabbath. They kept the true Passover, and they kept the rest of the festivals, and they did it according to the to God's calendar. So, and we have, we have left a lot of these things. We're keeping Easter in our days from Rome, and we're keeping Christmas, which has nothing to do with Jesus or Yeshua, which is going back to sun worship as far as I can see. And some sources also talk about Easter going back to, in any case, it's pagan. It's not found in the Bible. Halloween, why would Christians keep Halloween? It's just, all these Sunday things, and Sunday, of course, being the day of Sol Invictus, like Christmas is the sun birth, or the birth of the false sun god, in regards of the sun, the literal sun in the sky, the solar god, the solar false god, and in regards of the cookie Jesus, the round cookie Jesus, the false Roman, Antichrist cookie Jesus, so, just terrible. But there's a lot more to research. I have some books which is also talking about Asia Minor, which I was thinking of getting, other people that have researched things in regards of Christianity in Asia Minor, which in the first couple of centuries, at least first, second, and maybe probably in the end of the, I don't have but you can see it's going downhill. And in the Nicene Council in 325, they apparently get to establish this battle that they had by Rome and Asia Minor. And we know there was 2 apostles in Asia Minor. Well, actually, if you count Paul, it's 3, but I wouldn't count Paul as an apostle. But anyway, they discounted him. Yet there were still 2 apostles in regards of Asia Minor. In any case, it was a big place for Christianity. And we also have a beautiful letter. And we probably have a lot more information out there because we have a lot of documents from, before the Council of Nicaea. We have collections of books and books and books and books of documents. And even if we have lost a lot of material from the the real, great lights in history, because Rome didn't like them, and, and then they are lost to history, and, well, sometimes things pops up and all that, but, look at a guy like Melito. How much do we have of Melito? Well, not much. Apparently his materials seem to have been very popular in regards of Jesus being God and all that, or Yeshua being God, and yet we don't have much about it. We don't have much information from, we have lost, looking at history, we have lost a lot of information, that as a Christian, I would have loved to get my hands in. Then, of course, we have those things that seems to support Roman Catholicism. They want to have those, and they have preserved those, yet the documents that might not actually have been in regard in supporting them, they, threw it out, right? We don't need those, And in regards of Roman history, that's the way Rome did it, they rewrite history, destroy, censor, whatever, and rewrite history. There's nothing new in that regard. It seems like there's some issues. And I lost connection, so who knows? It's very curious that one of the videos that I lost, in regards of 7 Adventists and Mormons and what was it, Mormons and false Jehovah's Witnesses. I made a huge, big video of it and just disappeared. I do wonder why that would be. It's just very weird. I guess I do wonder, if they have like, going through their servers. I do wonder if they have like a, finding out in regards to some of the, and then just, this is I guess it's like, the Catholic Church has always been like a church, it seems, that want to have information on you. They don't like you having freedom speech, you know. Well, you can talk freely as long as you do it in regards of their what shall we say, their field of you're not allowed to go outside that. So they in some sense, they hate free speech, you know. They fix they don't want you to have free speech, you know, because you can expose the system, and by reading but they don't like the Bible either, you know. They have hated the Bible. They have destroyed documents in regards of Bible truth. They have burned the saints, you know, and their documents, you know. They don't like truth. It's a horrible organization, and now people are running back to the Antichrist and this wicked system. Which, you know, historical, we can just see how one, you know, filthy thing after another is coming from Rome, fulfilling the prophecies, of course, in regards to the Bible, you know, thinking to change times and laws. Who thinks to change times and laws? Well, I know, you know, one city at least, Rome, has, you know, been changing, and actually the Antichrist in Rome have been, you know, thinking to change times and laws through a lot of centuries. And we are still, that's the thing in regards to the Reformation. And sadly, I think Luther went this far and then stopped it in some sense. He became the stopper in some sense. Well, there was a lot of others that, you know, still, continued forward, but I think he became, sadly, when it came back to the Wittenberg, he sadly, you know, he still had Catholic leaven in him, and it seems to be that he actually had Catholic leaven until his death. You know, he had grown up with Catholicism. But some of his, like, for example, his colleague Andreas Karlstadt wanted to take it a lot further in regards of truth, and sadly he seemingly was kicked out. But, you know, we can still fix things, you know. We can still go in the right direction and not the wrong direction. But at the moment, we are going in the wrong direction. But anyway, I think Asia Minor, you know, when people say, oh, you were a Judaizer, when you have Passover, 7 days of unleavened bread, and Sukkot, or Day of Trumpets, the festival of Day of Trumpets, which is 10 days and all that, when people will say Judaizers, well, we can just go back and look in regards of Asia Minor. And Asia Minor, as far as I can see in regards to the information that we have left, and there's probably more information that one can draw out from opposition as well. You know, even if you only have opposition material, you can still draw out what they are attacking, or sometimes they quote some of the things in regards of Asia Minor. Like, for example, the letter we have from Asia Minor, I think actually comes from a Catholic. And, you know, when Catholic says, oh, you can't use Catholic sources, well, you know, and we'll say, you're using Catholic sources. Well, you destroyed all the other things, you know. So I'm not allowed to use, you know, the sources that we have in regards of Catholicism, you know, to find out what was going on. You know, it's just foolish, I think. Anyway, so we can use information to see what was, you know, trying to reconstruct a lot of the things, you know, here and there. And again, you know, I would have loved to just go directly to the material, for example, of Melito, instead of reading these so-called church fathers, whatever, you know. And some of the others, what was it? The guy was not Polycarp, I think there was some, anyway, where he made like, was it like 4 or 5 books in regards of getting testimonies from people that had witnessed things and all that. Lost. You know, we don't have that. We don't have those books anymore. I can't remember how many it was and who it was. But again, Melito Melito and the other guy seems to sometimes be mentioned. I can't remember his name, I'm sorry. And then, of course, we had the guy going out in the world to interview people about, you know, later on, in regards of, and as I understand it, all the information that you could have wished in regards of a question or whatever was found in those books. Because they interviewed people that, you know, lived afterwards in regards of family members and all that. went out and, but we lost that. We lost that. We lost that to, well, again, most likely Rome, that has, as far as I understand in regards to Melito, Rome, made it so it wasn't printed anymore. Apparently they had a lot of power already. Just in the 2nd century, you can see them having a lot of power, or thinking they have the right to rule all Christianity. This, what is it called? This universal bishop over all other bishops, because he's telling them, in Asia Minor, you need to keep Easter. And they're replying back with a letter. No, we're not. We're going by scripture. And yeah, it's just a wonderful letter. Just a wonderful, because it shows at least 3 things in this letter. It shows that that the Christians, when they died, they were expecting a resurrection. They didn't believe they were going directly to heaven. And actually, we can see that in Justin Martyr as well, that he says, if you meet some Christian and he's, think that he's going directly to heaven when he dies, don't believe that they're Christians. Now, of course, Melito has his own issues there. It goes the wrong direction, but that's not to say you throw out the baby with the water. You can still use, the information. Yet, I think in regards of, yeah. But anyway. So we have this letter, and we can see that they, are expecting this resurrection of the saints and so forward, and talking about it. They're not talking about, oh yeah, now my this and that is in the heavens and all that. So that's just a confirmation in regards of, the Bible in itself doesn't speak, Jesus was not in heaven 3 days and, 3 nights. He was in Sheol 3 days and 3 nights, right? And then he was resurrected. Now, of course, the Son is in the Father and so forward. But besides that, the Son, when he died, went to Sheol, or the realm of death, and was resurrected 3 days and 3 nights afterwards. Or as he said, he has the power to lay down his life, and he has the power to take up his life. And of course, the false Jehovah's Witnesses will say, oh, but it was the Father that raised him up. Well, Jesus says he had the power to raise himself up. So again, it's not a problem if you believe in regard to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But in any case, they don't believe in that, and thereby they hit into a lot of walls and get into a lot of scriptural issues, I think. In any case, so, well, where was I? That's a good question. So anyway, we can see there's a lot of conflicts. For example, Polycarp, for example, goes to Rome. He goes to Rome to try to get them on the right track in regards of Passover, because they're keeping Easter. Now that doesn't work, and I think it's the beginning of the 2nd century, but I could be wrong. At least he ends up becoming a martyr in Rome, where they kill him. In any case, and there's written some documents on that, or at least a document in regards of how he. Anyway, and later on we have Victor, the bishop Victor, in the late 2nd century, trying to force the churches in Asia Minor to keep this. You see, time is seemingly a tool for Satan, because we have a way of losing a lot of, we have a way of not, in some sense, standing up for truth. We have a way of, Satan uses time and hits here and hit there, and a little by little, and we lose more and more. And we have to go in the right direction. And that was one of the things that the Reformation did, that was made a big blow to the Antichrist in Rome, and people began to read the Bible for themselves. And thereby they found out that a lot of these things are not biblical. And actually the Bible talks about the whore and the Antichrist and Rome being, the place. And they were all pointing to Rome and the Antichrist in Rome. Anyway, so the Jesuits was created to try to get the Protestants back under the wings of the Roman Caesar, which is the Antichrist, which has pretty much succeeded in our days, I think. The so-called Protestants really don't know anything in regards of the protest, There's just like a total what is it called, amnesia or something like that. Who is the Antichrist? Huh? No idea. People don't know. And it's like, okay, and you talk about, talk with Lutheran priests, and they just don't, and try to slick around it, and, ecumenical spirit, getting, and it's just horrible to see. Just absolutely horrible. You have, if Luther had been alive today, he would have given the Lutheran priest in Denmark a huge rebuke, that's for sure, in regards of not standing for who the Antichrist is. As I understand it, he actually, Melanchthon wrote the Augsburg Confession. I have it over here. But as I understand it, I heard some, in regards of information that Luther was actually angry at him when he came home to Wittenberg, but that's something more I need to research. But the thing is, he apparently kept out who the Antichrist was in the Augsburg. I haven't read it, but here's some of it. I haven't read it, but at least not the whole thing. But let's see here. This is the Augsburg. And this was the thing that the last Lutheran priest at least one of the last Lutheran priests that I talked to were pointing me to. But if Melanchthon actually wrote that, and he actually kept out in regards of who the Antichrist was and so forward, because he was a little afraid of the king, as I understand it, so he wasn't. And then Luther, when he came back, he was, as I understand it, pretty angry at him in regard. We have to stand on in regards to the doctrine of the Antichrist. We cannot. What was it? We cannot. There's so many puzzle pieces, But again, we have to stand on who the Antichrist is. And listening to this priest that I talked to, it's like, it wasn't really important in regards to who the Antichrist was and this and that. Not important? So the Protestant Reformation, is not important for the Reformation, or actually the protest in regards to who they protested against. Are you kidding me? These slick ecumenical people, just no, this not going to work with me, They might work with most of the people because we don't know and read and study and all that, because we trust that the shepherds actually do their work, right? And tell us the truth. But we shouldn't trust them, for sure. We should not trust them. Who knows if they're Jesuits or Freemasons, satanic Freemasons or whatever, or just atheists and non-believing or witches, who knows, or what they're called. And, there's no one that will read the Bible for you. It's just in our days, if you want to listen to lies and deceptions, just go to a church. They don't stand on the Bible. They teach evolution, right? Do they believe in 6,000 years? As Luther actually believed himself. The last book of Luther talks about that he said that the world was around 5,500 years. Well, that's around 5,000 years ago, right? So he's pretty much in the same field that I understand. It's around 6,000 years, It's not an exact, but it's around 6,000 years. It's never over 10,000 years. Yet, how many will you see that actually will stand on that? It's just so, 82% of the people in Denmark believe in evolution. Satanic pagans evolution. You have to be kidding me. Somebody is not doing their job for sure. And it's just going downhill, and no one is speaking up. No one is speaking up. No one is doing anything in regards of trying to to get some light to the people. Here we have the Augsburg Confession again. But I do wonder, because there seems to be, I'm not sure if that was Melanchthon that published something in 1531. If he's correcting in regards of, I do wonder in regards of what documents that is in regards of the correction of. But again, just reading the last book of Luther should pretty much, against the Roman papacy and institution of the devil. If you just read that book, you should have a good knowledge of what Luther actually believed about, his last, in some sense, his last book. Actually, I found the last piece that was written by him. It was actually translated by this Danish guy, which I still hope he wanted to translate this last book here, Against the Roman Papacy and Institution of the Devil. And he wrote back to me that he didn't really think it was like, it was really not that good written in some sense. And he quoted Luther, and then he wrote that he didn't really know himself what he thought about the, Catholicism and all that. And I'm like, how can you not know what, being a fan of Luther and all that, as far as I see it, I guess you wouldn't translate so much of his material if you didn't have an interest in what, and just, how can't, I'm just, not another one, not another one. Being filled with this ecumenical spirit, So I guess, maybe that's I guess it just seems like maybe it's seemingly an excuse that this is not some of the best that he has written and all that. Well, that's a good excuse, in regards of not, I still hope he will take it up, but I must say, I don't have my hope up in regards of that after his last reply. At least it was a try, at least he looked it over, so I'm thankful for that. But I don't know if I can actually, make him go in the right, probably not in regards of, but, it would have been nice if he had wanted to translate it, but I don't, saying that it's not one of the best works of Luther and all that. This is one of his last works. The last big book that he wrote. And I don't know everything in regards of Luther and all that for sure. Just a little here and there. Very little. But again, this is his last. His all the experience that he has behind him is found in this book, and there's some, he's still quoting Paul and all that. I have some issues with that, but overall, he's very clear on who the Antichrist is, and not seeing this document as important, I have no idea why I wouldn't. It just seems like it just seems like a good excuse to just say, it's not really that good, compared to other things. I think it's very good, I think this is some of the things that the people need to know about. And but apparently, seemingly, I don't know. I'll have to. In any case, going back to the Nazoreans, and it still looks to me that the Nazoreans actually also had Gentiles as well, it seems. At least it says Greeks. But of course, some of the new translations try to say that these Greeks was actually Jews. I don't I don't think that's the... I think there was some Gentiles that actually, when they found out about the truth, they joined the Nazoreans, of course. You're just so close to the truth. Jesus has just died and so forward. What would you do? Join up with those, that knew Jesus Christ and so forward. So I don't think it's a surprise that they would join themselves with the disciples and the rest of the Jews as Greeks, and how many wouldn't do the same? You have the witnesses of Jesus Christ. Wouldn't you, those that, slept with him and ate with him and listened to his teaching for a long time. You had his family members as well. And I don't know how many actually became to believe in him, but it seems John took care of Mary and they went to Asia Minor. I think there was, some... I'm not entirely sure, but I think before the doctrine of Mary going to heaven, that they actually had her grave in Asia Minor, but I can't remember at least that was like a house where they believed that John and Mary had lived. But of course, you never know in regards to all these. But as I understand, there was actually something in regards of a grave in Asia Minor, thing in regards of Mary. But I could be wrong. But I think there's something in someone. If someone wants to do the research and all that, that's one way. At least we have the grave of the Apostle Philip, and actually I just read the letter from Asia Minor, which was recorded against Victor. That would be around the 2nd century, and or the last part of the 2nd century, and they talk about where he died and all that, and just looked it up on Google, and lo and behold, I found the place where Philip is said to be, his grave. Anyway, so that's apparently a place that you can actually go to. So using the information from that letter, you can actually, it's very interesting. So that was one of the apostles. We also have here information that he had children. He had two or three virgins, apparently, it seems. All of them, I think, died as virgins. So anyway, at least there's some information on that. But in regards of Passover, he writes in regards of Passover, it goes back to, John, and, the Apostle Philip was in that area as well. So if John and Philip was agreeing that we should continue to keep the festivals recorded in the Bible, when people then say Judaizers to you, well, it doesn't really, so, okay, so you're a paganizer, right? Because you want to keep the pagan doctrine. So which one do we want to be? Do we want to be Judaizers or paganizers? Because the Judaizers has been used for people, trying to keep for example, the festivals or the Sabbath or whatever, shouldn't be a Judaizer and this and that. It's like a bad thing, apparently, be a Judaizer, So that's how I see it in regards of being used in history, Some believe that Judaizing is only in regards to the man-made laws, but historical, it has been used to those that go back to the law of Moses and wanting to keep those things. So, but in any case, do you want to be a Judaizer or paganizer? It's so as I see it in regards of Judaizing, that's I'm a Judaizer. That's. But I'd rather be a Judaizer than a paganizer. And in regards of how I see the Judaizer is in regards of keeping, I think we should keep the festivals. I think we should keep the calendar according to God, having the new year in the spring. Getting as close as we can. Getting as close as we can. Oh, it's just very close to losing my phone here. So the question is it still recording? Yeah, it looks like that. So taking everything into account, you can just go back to the Church of Asia or the congregations in Asia and pretty much see that, they did it. If they kept the festivals recorded in the Bible, I think we should, in regards of the law of Moses. In regards of Purim and Hanukkah, it's not found in the 5 books of Moses. So, personally, I don't think we should keep those anyway. I have like 21 pages on Hanukkah, which seems to have some, it doesn't seem to me that it's a good thing. And again, Purim, there is a book in regards to the Bible in regards of Purim. But that was also a source. Actually, that's Melito. Melito confirms what the biblical books are in the 2nd century, and he doesn't mention Esther. Some seemingly believe that it might have been in regard, but he doesn't directly mention the book of Esther. So maybe it was there, maybe not, but it seems to be, and we also know that from the Jewish sages, they thought it was adding to the Torah in regards of Purim. But in any case, it's not found in the Torah of Moses, so thereby I don't see why we should keep those. It's So we, as enough things to learn in the Torah, I think, in regards of Passover, 7 days of unleavened bread, where we are not allowed to eat anything than unleavened bread. Well, we are allowed to eat any, other things, but we're not allowed to eat leavened bread, for 7 days. And then you have the first fruit, and you have the counting to the weeks of the festival of weeks, which you count 50 or 49 instead of counting to Christmas, which is not found in the Bible. And first Advent, second Advent, third Advent, and fourth Advent is not found in the Bible either. Christmas is not found in the Bible either, which actually in Denmark we call Yule, because it goes back to, as I understand it, Odin, which is Yulna. Apparently, Yulna is apparently another word for Yule, so it goes back, because Odin is apparently Yulna, apparently, it seems, as far as I could see from the lexicon when I went through that. So it's just in regards to the pagan, even if we call it Christmas, and they wanted to call it Christmas in Danish as well, but apparently that didn't. So we still have Yule, which again is Yulna, again going to Odin. So maybe Odin is also some form of Satan Claus, and of course we have the Antichrist in Rome looking like Santa Claus as well, or Satan Claus as well. So you never know these lines and this and that. It's all paganism, and it's not in the Bible. So why are we keeping it? Easter, egg-laying rabbits, and Santa Claus running around in the sky, with 8 reindeers or something like that, and having godlike power, knowing everything that the children have done, and having these gnomes, which was actually false house gods and all that. It's just stinking paganism, everything, stinking paganism, And no, we just keep on continuing to do these things. One thing is that the pagans are doing these things. Another thing is that the Christians are doing these things. We should know better, shouldn't we? Yeah, we should. We can't even open a book in our days and actually look at the traditions that we have, that these traditions are vain traditions, that is not found in the Bible. Anyway, just getting tired of it. And the churches are even the promoters of these things, it seems, Why would the churches ever be promoting these things? Oh yeah, we get a lot of people into the churches as Christmas and Easter. That's our big 2 days. Well, both of them are pagan festivals. Maybe you should, just be the light for the people. You should do what is right. And that's the thing. I guess that is one of the things that I have problems with Luther, because Luther turns this argument, and there's probably more information on it, but he turns this argument that he's defending, he's not willing to go too fast forward because of the weak. So, for example, when Luther comes back and Andreas Karlstadt is leading the Reformation in regards of Wittenberg, and it seems like Luther apparently has, he's maybe a little butthurt or something like that, he's, in regards of Karlstadt taking over or something like that, and it's just sad, but he really make a lot of mess, or a big mess. But I want to see his sermons, or 6 or 8 sermons, when he comes back, and see if that is actually written down. Maybe the guy actually knows about that, the Luther guy. He probably know about that. I still hope he will translate this last book. Anyway, so Luther comes back, and then he just, he's talking about this. You have, if you see one of his letters, for example, that's probably, I'm sitting and reading some of his letters, and one of the letters at least, I can't remember everything, but one of the letters, he's talking about, it's true what is Karlstadt is doing, it's right and so forward, but, because of the weak ones, we shouldn't go so quickly in regards of forward. That's just snake talk, and, because Luther, Luther and Andreas, knowing what they know, being learned people, should be the ones, when they know something is wrong, they should turn away from it. Yet Luther is going with, and that's because of Paulus, as I can see it. He's using the doctrine of Paul in regards of this hypocritical doctrine that, if someone, have this idea that you can't eat meats sacrificed to a false god, well, don't do it if, you have anyone around. But the council never said that you are, if you have this understanding, you could do that. Paul says that. But it's like, oh, don't be seen in the temple eating food. Why would you even be in the pagan temple eating food sacrificed to false gods, But apparently Paul doesn't believe it's a problem. Which I think is a big problem, actually, because Jesus, or Yeshua, is rebuking the congregations in the book of Revelation about this doctrine of eating food sacrificed to false gods. Anyway, so I think there's a lot of holes in regards of Paulus. I think actually Paulus seems to be the one actually making holes so Satan could use it to distort or go further away from the truth. In any case, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Paul, I'm really not a big fan. I've talked with people in regard, it's going the wrong direction if you just follow Paul. It just just total damage. I damaged myself because of Paul. You can eat everything and anything, right? No. You actually can hurt yourself, which I did. Because I thought, oh, I can eat everything, anything, Paul is saying, no problem, But anyway, and then I went for eating fast food, which did damage. So I'm not a big fan of Paul. I'm actually it just rips open the idea that you can do this and that without consequences. That's just not how it works. And I think that's the same thing with eating food sacrificed to false gods. Because we are defiling ourselves when we are eating food that has been sacrificed to a false god. It doesn't matter if we don't know it or know it. It's still defiling us because the source of the food source is still defiled. It doesn't matter if we know it or not know it. It's still defiling us. That's why we need to ask: is this sacrifice to a false god? It's just anyway. That's another topic, of course, but of course there is one place where Paul is actually telling the truth about this, but then he's very good at flipping things around. It's just so Andreas Karlstadt was, he's called a radical and I think maybe also extremist. He has pretty much been slandered in some sense. And Luther comes back and, begins to talk this snake talk in some sense about that, we shouldn't do it so quickly. And it's true that what Karlstadt has been doing is actually correct. But, because of the weak, we shouldn't go so quickly and blah, blah, blah. And Karlstadt ends up leaving the city, and seemingly it seems like Luther has something to do with getting Karlstadt kicked out. But I'm not sure about all the details, but I'm still researching some of them. It's just, I need a break, I need a break. I have, there's so much information out there, and the information we should have. Which is something, this is information we should have been taught from childhood of. This should be, standard knowledge to know about what was going on in regards to the Reformation, in regards to the Bible and all that. That's the whole idea of going to school. Being taught the Bible, being taught to read, so we can read the Bible, so we're not getting deceived by Antichrist in Rome. Which hate the Bible, which, and hate free speech, and when you look at the internet, free speech is really, we don't have much, I'm getting censored like daily, on the internet, daily censored by people, Oh, judge, hate speech. Oh, you're not speaking in love. Oh, this is bad and whatever, you know. Just getting censored all the time. It's not free speech. It's like out the window, you know. If you are not in regards of, you know, keeping to the things. Oh, YouTube videos getting away, deleted, channels deleted, thrown out. Oh, because someone got offended by the truth, you know. It's just sad. It's just so sad. So free speech? Oh, we have free speech? Well, at least we still have some. At least we can still, you know, but a lot of things are getting censored and deleted and, you know, and I guess it's an experience, you know, you can see. You know, if I can see that I'm getting censored in so much, you know, looking at history, it's not a surprise that Satan had censored a lot of the things down through the ages. He doesn't want too much truth to get in our hands. And if we don't stand for truth, if we don't defend the truth, if we don't grasp a hold on the truth, you know, we lose it. We lose it. And the thing is, when we lose the truth, it takes a lot of time to regain the truth. Because you need to find out what is the truth. And if you have like, you know, if you have like Rome, you know, they are spilling their false things out there. You need to find out what is the truth. Because there's so much information out there. So much deception and lies. And you're just standing there, which thing is the truth? And if we just have kept that truth alive, we would know. And we wouldn't need to, you know, restart research, which takes a lot of time. Anyway, so it's just sad. Any case, so I've been researching the Nazoreans and what was going on in Asia Minor, because Asia Minor, as far as I can see, at least for 200 years, was the big place of truth for Christianity, you know, and again we lost a lot of material from it. You know, a lot of the material that you really wanted to get your hands in. For example, Melito in the 2nd century, wrote on the book of Revelation. Wouldn't you like to have what he said from the 2nd century? One of those people, you know, he understood a lot of things from the Bible. He was like, you know, reading him is like, wow, sometimes, you know, it's like, you know, really good, some of the things. But, you know, that's the snippets we have, you know. But wouldn't you like to know what he wrote about the book of Revelation to get a 2nd century witness for the book of Revelation in regards of how he looked at it, you know? Well, we don't have it anymore, you know? You know, we have a list of what he wrote from, you know, from the Catholic Church in some sense, just writing what his works, but yeah, we lost it all, most of it, you know. Mostly we have lost everything of it, nearly. Just a few pieces here and there that survived. Because he was one of those that defended the Passover, the 14th of Aviv, in the first month of the week, and was against the, you know, they call it quartodicium or something like that. And it's just, you know, it's just a, you know, I guess another word, instead of just saying, well, they're following the Bible. No, we need to have a council, you know, to find out how we can lure this, you know, and show the world that we have had intelligent Christians discussing and debating and thinking over these things, instead of just looking at what the Bible says and just doing what the Bible says, right? No. We need to have a council and show the world that we have really thought about these things. And pretty much just corrupted it even more. Now, of course, it's not to say that the Nicene Council were all bad. There was some good things as well, I think. But in regards of I think they had the pretty much, in regards of the doctrine of the Trinity, it seems that's pretty valid in regards of that declaration. But turning away from, you know, from the biblical things, and you know, and you see how the church attacks, or the Romanist that begins to attack it's just spilling over from Rome in some sense. All these falsehoods, man-made laws and all that, spilling over from Rome, you know, and goes out in the whole world and just makes it And that's the thing, which you see in history where people are popping up and going back to the doctrines again, and it's like, where do they get those doctrines from? Well, maybe because they read the Bible and study the Bible, find out, oh, we need to, and then a group pops up again, and then a group pops up again. Then Rome comes and slay them all, right? With the sword, and the blood fills out, and they destroy the documents and so forward again and again and again. Or, witch hunting in some sense. Well, which are not witches, but like witch hunting the true Christians, and just, it's just very sad. But anyway, of course, the thing is with the Nazoreans, they were hated by the Jews and were hated by the Christians, or at least the Christians that was against the Judaizers. They were hated by the Jews because they believed Yeshua was the Messiah. Yeshua is the Hebrew equivalent for Jesus. Jesus comes from Greek, as I understand it, from the Greek word of Jesus. And that's the English, then, we have it in Danish as well. But, just go back to the Hebrew, and that would be Yeshua. So anyway, so they believed that Yeshua was the Messiah. So the Jews, that was apparently other things as well, because they didn't want to fight the Romans, and, because the Jews picked, for example, their own Messiah Bar Kokhba or something like that, and the believing Jews didn't want to support that because they already had a Messiah. They already believed that Jesus was the Messiah, and as I understand, they fled Rome as well in 70 AD before Rome actually destroyed the city, and the Jews was angry at the non-believing Jews was angry at them for that as well. So, and then we have a Bar Kokhba coming. And also, because they didn't want to support him. So it seems like they got persecution from the Jews. We also have some things from the Jews writing about destroying their manuscripts and so forward, and having the name of God in them and so forward. So that's interesting for sure, actually. But anyway, so not only did the Jews persecute the Nazoreans, well, the Christians persecuted them as well, because, the Judaizers, And it's just sad. So they got squeezed in the middle, and that's like the Anabaptists in regards to the Reformation. The Anabaptists got squeezed in the middle as well by the Catholics and the Protestants, even if they were Protestants themselves. It's just a huge failure from the Protestants. They made a huge error beginning to persecute the Anabaptists, or the Brethren, as they also called themselves, original Brethren. I think they made a huge mistake, I think they might have done the devil's work, sadly. And that's like Zwingli, Luther, and the other guy that is really pop. That's not to say that everything they did was bad, but I think these things where they were writing against the Anabaptists, they just wanted to follow Jesus Christ, they sadly began to persecute them. I'm not sure why would they persecute these guys. Well, apparently they saw them as an enemy because the Anabaptists didn't want to take up the sword, and they didn't want to have any positions in governments. They just wanted to follow Jesus Christ and go out and preach the good news and all that. And some of them lived in communities. You can still see that today, like the Hutterites. And the idea in regards to the Hutterites, for example, they had these, I heard, listening to some of the Hutterites, just wonderful. I really like the Hutterites in regards to their history, and that's more too, but they went out 2 on 2, and spread the good news and all that. So I think that's very, very nice. And it seems like they got very close to the following Jesus Christ, but they got persecuted. And again, when you get too close to things, you will get persecuted. So that's, I guess, just some of the, I guess it's something to be expected. So that's at least 2 groups that got persecuted really badly. And then we see also that the Christians fled to the US, to America, because of persecution. And as I understand it, America in the beginning was like 99% Protestants. And they had laws against Catholics not being allowed in the government. Now, why would they have laws against that? Well, maybe because they knew the filthy system of Romanism. And of course, the US is pretty much, pretty infiltrated in many ways, for sure. By Romanism and Catholicism and all that. But anyway, so that's really sad to see. And of course, the US is used as a sword in the hand of Rome during the Popish Wars, you know? Yeah. Anyway, so it's a mess. I guess it's just a mess, you know? It's a huge mess. But I guess, you know, just go back to the Bible again and listen to our master in regards of how to do things, you know. But I guess in regards to the Augsburg Confession, if Melanchthon actually wrote this and didn't really talk much about the papacy and all that, being the Antichrist and all that, because he was afraid of what the king might do to him, that might not be that interesting. Of course, there will still be some information that one can pick up, but I still think they had, you know, issues. You know, they still had Catholic leaven and all that. But one thing I absolutely agree with is in regards of the Antichrist and Rome and so forward. And I think Luther is really opening the door for that, and in his last book, really opening for what was, you know, going on. And so that's really wonderful. But I do wonder if Melanchthon, he might have, you know, I guess he would have written something afterwards which would maybe have fixed in regards of the papacy, but I don't know about that. You know, there's lots of holes for sure. And why? Well, because someone hasn't, you know, we haven't kept the truth alive. And I guess it's not really easy to get the truth anymore because no one seems to want to talk about it. Anyway, let's see. Here we have Luther again. First, I beg you, for God's sake, whoever you are, a Christian indeed, even if you still have a natural reason, tell me whether you can understand or comprehend what kind of counsel that would be, or whether it would be a counsel if the abominable abomination in Rome, who calls himself Pope, has such reservation, power, and authority to tear up, change, or ruin everything that is decided in the council, as most of his decrees bellow. The thing is, apparently the Pope had, you know, the utmost authority, so if there's something in the council he didn't like, he could change things, apparently. And there was something in regards that he was the one that picked and chose who could contend in the council and so forth. So it seems like Luther was a little in regards of just, you know, didn't really... But anyway, the book was released on the day that the doors of Trent was open, as I understand it. So again, you have all the rules and the anathema, you know, in regards of the book of Trent, for example. You can see all the curses put on the Protestants and all that, what they stood for and all that. And then you have on the other side, you have Luther writing the book. And then the question is, you know, you see the division in some sense. And then the question is, who are we going to trust here in this thing? So, but again, Luther had absolutely some issues. It's really sad to see that, you know, for the weak ones, that he didn't, you know, support Karlstadt. I don't know what was happening overall. I wasn't there. But it just seems like, you know, being his colleague and all that, and Luther being away from Wittenberg and the university, that Karlstadt and the others were, you know, Karlstadt wasn't alone about the Reformation in regards of reforming in Wittenberg. You know, I have sources saying that town council was agreement in regards to the these things, and the other Christians. Now, of course, I wasn't there, so again, it's hard to. But something was absolutely going on, and some sources says that Karlstadt was disappointed of Luther when he came back. That he seemed that Karlstadt, felt that he had, what shall we say, had gone away from some of the old ways or this, regard. So it's just sad. It's sad. Because we could have, I think we could have come further, but again, I don't know. We can't go back in time and fix it, right, or something like that. But again, we can fix it nowadays, and again, we know that Luther has some issues here and there, but that's not to say that we throw out all the things, because he also did a lot of good things, He stood against the whole church system, and he could have been killed, He could have been killed, Here is Stanner can do no more. They could have put it on the fire and burned him like Hoss, for example. And it seems like when you read Luther, he's at that point that he's beyond that point of caring and regard. He's not in the fear of being killed in some sense, because he just speaks what he speaks, and he doesn't seem to just let it out there. He already had been at that point where he could have been killed. So, and he, being called a heretic, he apparently could have been killed over the years. So, and I still think, actually, it was very interesting to see that Jörg is one of the people on YouTube, and he actually also had the same thing in regards of that maybe Luther was, poisoned or something like that. I think that was, he had something, and that was interesting because I was thinking the same thing, because who would be the great enemy of Rome? Well, that would be Luther, of course. So what could you do? Well, maybe you could poison Luther, right? I don't know. He had some health issues for sure, and all that here and there. So maybe it was natural, but again, we know that the Jesuits was created as a. So maybe that would be one of the first things that the Jesuit would seek out to end the most viciously attacking person against Rome. The biggest, and I think he was the biggest in regards of attacking Rome, and not, just flat out exposing this wicked system that made it, opened it up for a lot of people attacking, Rome. And now, of course, people are running back to Rome, and just so sad to see. And, being led astray. Let's see, someone has written here. Oh, yeah, who knows? It's just, have to be really careful for sure nowadays. And what can we do? We can just grow, and the more that seeks out information and truth and all that, we can then use each other. As a body, like being in the body of Christ, we can use each other to grow faster and quicker. If someone has researched something and done a lot of research in that area and have good conclusions in regards to what is the truth and all that, other people can use that. And if more than one have researched this topic, they can then, see if they have verification in regards of getting to the same conclusions and so forward. And when we know that this is the truth and so forward, we can then grow quicker and just making other people being able to grow quicker in regards of what is right and what is wrong and what is going on and this and that. Having the answers, having more of the answers, what was this and that, and where to look, or that's we just have to have more people researching these things. The information is out there. The thing is, we need more manpower researching things, researching the Bible, researching history, getting us through this smoke screen that the Catholics have put up. in front of us, and promoting their own history, which is like what's it called, adulterated history instead of unadulterated history. And it's like a veil of smoke, of gassy smoke, stinking smoke. And we need to get through that veil and begin to walk in the right direction and not care if they kill us. That's the thing Jesus said. Do not fear he who can only kill the body but cannot kill the soul. The thing is, if we walk with Christ and begin to go in the right direction, even if Satan kills us, he can't kill the soul. He can't kill the soul. That's the thing. Whatever Satan does to you or to us in regards to a bodily thing, he can't kill the soul. The soul is still there, and God is the one that can, raise us up again and so forward. And he's the one that can kill both body and soul, not the devil. So anyway, we should fear God more than we should fear Satan. But it is, and again, the more people that wakes up, the better it is, Anyway, well, hopefully more people will wake up. Anyway, have a good Sabbath, all of you. It's the day of rest. It's the 7th day. Still have some weird things going on in my legs at the moment, but actually I hope it gets sped up. But maybe it's because I'm not using my body that much as I could. Reading a lot of things, researching a lot of things, not really using my body that much. So should probably do some more bodily things, to keep it, yeah. Anyway, have a good one, all of you. Just a little word here and there. And again, I have some books on again, there's so much information out there, and I'm getting at the point, where, so much information that you end up, just, whoa, it's just the mind can only handle so and so much, I guess. So, but, a little here and a little there, and you begin to piece up the puzzles here and there. But it's still a huge thing, You want to know the truth, all the truth, right? And this truth and that truth, and yes. But it's nice to see people out there doing it, and growing in that direction. Anyway, study the Bible, do some research, and begin to go in the right direction. And the more that does that, the better. And the less chance that Satan is going to deceive us. Anyway, I'll stop now.